Hello, Brooke. Today I want to talk to you about pregnancy. I want to ask you about cravings. How have you had any cravings? How have you been dealing with it? How have you been controlling it? And how does it tie in with ADHD?
So funny. That's the first question that everyone leads with. I'm in my second trimester now, and believe it or not, I've become really hungry. And they say that your appetite goes up on your second trimester. Um, the cravings that I've had are not ones that you hear about, for instance, pickles and ice cream or, sausage, or my cravings have been candy, things that are
Oh,
really sweet. I
yeah.
like gummy bears, Sour Patch watermelon, things like that. Um, Anything really sugary.
Mhm,
Also do love my carbs as well, but I've had that craving since the beginning of pregnancy. I think it's probably my excuse.
mhm, mhm.
I'm pregnant, so I can have a lot of pizza.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. And how do I control it? Well, when I work out in the morning, it decreases my appetite. So that's pretty much how I control it. I also do the same things that I would have done before pregnancy, where, I don't buy all of the things that I would typically have cravings for. I mean, if I do buy it, perhaps I buy it in a specific portion. So I'm not eating a whole bag of something, for instance. Actually, this isn't a good example, but I have Justin's peanut butter
There you
cups right here. And yes, I almost ate the whole bag. I bought them today. But typically, I would buy just, two of them and then eat that. And that's what I had for the day. And I would go to the store again the next day. And that's kind of how I control my cravings.
go.
And just, keeping hydrated.
Is it okay you just let it slide, or do you try not to do it?
I'm just, the more I try not to do it, the more I want it, right? I think
Mhm.
that's just how we are hardwired.
Exactly.
So I am practicing the same skills that I had before I was pregnant, just portion control. And the way that I control my portions is by buying a certain amount and not having any more for that day. And if I want it again tomorrow, I go to the store and get it. And economically, it doesn't make sense. But for me, so I don't overeat or binge,
Mhm.
it makes sense.
100%. I agree. I
I
like it.
also lean into what I want to eat, which is great, which everyone should do.
Everyone should do that. Exactly, exactly. I have one more question. Priorities are so important, pregnant or not. But I bet there's so much more responsibility during pregnancy. You're planning out your birth. Obviously you're hopping into different trimesters. You're going through different obstacles. How do you prioritize different things during your pregnancy, Brooke?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I actually just got off of a group coaching call where people were asking me about how they prioritize.
Mhm.
And this is the first time in my life, I think I finally accepted the fact that it's okay if I don't have all these to dos on my list. If I say, not right now.
Mhm.
I used to think that I had to create all these new things in my business and keep up with the latest trends. And
Mhm.
yes, the business is growing, but I don't feel like I am putting so much pressure on myself to prioritize to do's.
Mhm.
So I'm reframing and changing my mindset and saying less is more right now, and it's okay to delegate. But as far as my pregnancy goes, like prioritization specific to that, I'm really entrapped by like what's going on in my house because we just moved. So there's a lot of construction going on. So keeping up with that. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of doing things one day at a time, but also trying to connect with people who are pregnant or were pregnant in the past. My sister had two young kids, and some of my close friends have young children. So I'm starting to ask them questions, things that I never even thought to ask. What should I expect after, I give birth? What are some things I should line up? Things that your doctor might not tell you. So I can compile that. Like, for instance, I didn't know to start looking for a pediatrician.
Mhm.
Well, you got to start interviewing. Some people start interviewing them before they have the baby. So
Yes.
those types of things, just connection in general, like you don't know what you don't know. And that's just in life in general.
Mhm.
So reaching out and dropping your ego for a second, because I've never been a mom before, and saying, hey, I need to reach out to people who are moms, or, and have been through it, and find out what's the next step. What have they done? So this way I can start formulating ideas and get in action.
Exactly. I like how you say, you're kind of developing a new mindset. It's kind of like that neuroplasticity that's so important. We all have to have that neuroplasticity, kind of adapt to different situations we're put in. And I like that a lot. Also, you bring up your sister, your friends. Is having other people who are in the same situation or have been in the same situation, that's been super helpful for you, correct?
Oh my gosh. When people have a hard time taking action or making a decision, it's because very often they don't have the information to act.
Mhm.
So 100%. I mean, drop my ego and ask my sister, ask my friends what, they know, they've been through it. And
Yes.
then you take all the information in and you process it and figure out what you think is important and what's not important. And then you move forward with that. I have not created a registry yet. I don't know what, type of baby stuff I need. I do know I got a crib and I got a dresser. But as far as, bottles and all of that, I am on week 21 right now. So, I have this quarter that I am going to start looking at my sister's registry that's still online, my friends' registries, and start getting some ideas that way, seeing
Mhm.
what's out there already, because I have no idea.
Yes, yes. I like that one step at a time, making sure you have that really strong support group, finding the right tools, controlling your cravings, prioritizing correctly. I like it all. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah. And just remembering that, like, women in back in the day, they did this without registries, they did this without, all of this technology. So to stop all the pressure and just take it in and know that before the pregnancy is over, I will have the answer to these questions, because I will find that out. So
Mhm.
just one day at a time, one week at a time, and reflecting on, okay, what did I learn this week about my pregnancy? Who did I talk to? But again, not putting too much pressure on it. And one thing that I really like is, we've talked about in businesses creating goals and quarterly goals. And this year, for this quarter, one of my goals is to get my finances in order for the baby to come out. So really just getting a grip on what my finances are, what my husband's finances are, what our expenses are, and what we can afford moving forward, before a new human is born.
100%. 100%. Yeah, it's really important with all these tasks, all this responsibility, to like I said, you know, prioritize, mind map, sit down, relax. I realize it's all gonna go well. And at the end of the day, it's a large learning curve. There's a lot of learning to do. I think it comes one at a time, day by day. You learn more about yourself and more about your offspring.
Yeah. And I do have What to Expect When Expecting, the book
Oh,
upstairs.
there you go.
So I got to crack that open and start reading it, since I don't know what to expect when I'm expecting.
Exactly. So I bet books are super helpful. There
Super
has to
helpful. Forums, you know, social media, that could all help you, for people who've been there or maybe are one step ahead of you, to just kind of see what they're going through. Doesn't mean that your experience is going to be the same, but just getting some information.
Mhm, mhm. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.